Hello, WOTB Blitzers. It's Littlefinger. Happy Friday, or should I say, Happy Good Friday, April 7th, 2023. And it is time for a store review. And yes, last week I skipped. I really didn't see enough in the store to do a whole video on. Don't want to bore you guys to death with repeating some of the same content. So we do have Basket of Wonders event going on. Basically, just get victories, gravity mode, great way to get those victories and have a little bit of fun doing it and not worry about these lopsided battles. So just get these eggs, get some free stuff. Really haven't looked into it that much. Honestly, guys, have not been playing Blitz that much at all. New battle pass is the Epsilon here. Just gonna pass on this. Got the battle pass fatigue with this being every single month, and plus now that the fact that they are selling battle pass tanks for $5. So look at this bundle, $45. Going after the super wealthy or the not so intelligent, if you ask me. This is way too much to pay for this tank. I do like the M60. It's a very solid tier 10 medium, got good mobility, plays very well hold down with that American gun depression and decent gun accuracy. It is probably one of my more favorite tanks to play at tier 10 in the medium category, but it is certainly not worth $45. You are gonna get 10 American containers that give you a 10% drop chance. And then there's an order here. Keep this in mind. For 3 days, you have to get 25 wins, and you're going to end up with 5 collect them all containers. The 5x boosters only apply to this tank. And it's just way too much money to spend for the tank right now. You may be enticed by the fact that this bundle here gives you 37,500 gold plus 1,000 gold bundles. Keep in mind that the boosters here, you're gonna have to play 1,000 battles to get all of those. That's a lot of battles. The way I figure the cash value or the gold value on this is you're gonna play 1,000 battles at tier 10 and win half of them. So it's gonna be 15,000 on top of the 37,000. It's gonna work out to be about 580 gold per dollar, which you can do better by buying 2x gold in the store, and then you don't have to worry about playing 1,000 battles. So the TL7 120, we have a new tier 9 American heavy tank. This is kind of interesting. I do like to see tanks at tier 9. It's kind of a fairly represented tier, if you ask me. Really haven't looked too much into the characteristics of this tank just yet. It is in crates, so I'm not recommending this. It's only a 4% drop chance. You do have a 24% chance of getting some amount of gold, varying from 100 to 10,000. What I do like about the way they've laid this out now is that you can see, all of the different options all in one place. So the worst one here is going to be one that's going to cost you 2,000 gold. You're only going to have a 4% chance of getting the tank. The next worst one is the 8,000 for 5. It's going to work out to be 16,000 per crate. And then all of the other ones here work out to be pretty similar. If you were to go to the store and buy $5 worth of gold, I think you'd end up with 3,000. So that's going to work out to be about 1,500 gold per crate. The 4,000 and the 16,000 are going to work out to be about 1,333 per container. And I looked at it just from buying 12 containers. You're going to have a 38.9% chance of getting a tank. So it's a lot. 16,000 gold, and you only have a 1 in 3 chance really of getting the tank. So please keep all of that in mind. Now, we've got the Object 907 here, and you'll see it's 22,500 or $35 in gold. If you're gonna buy this one, and I think the price is a little bit high, buy it in gold. You can go, if you don't have the gold, you can go buy $35 worth of gold in the store at 2x, and you will have an additional 1,000 gold left over if you buy it that way. The 5x is just for this tank. But now, about this tank and why I really enjoy playing it. It kind of combines a little bit of the Leopard style. It's not as fast, 60 kilometers per hour versus 65. It doesn't have the same gun depression, 7 versus 9 on the Leopard. But the gun handling on this is essentially the same, except on the move it's a little bit worse. But your aim time and your dispersion are exactly the same. Plus, I think the Leopard's got, what, 50 mil of turret armor, and this one has got a lot more of that with 208 here. So you can get this thing, you know, in a hold down position from time to time, and you will bounce shots off of this turret, making it a little bit more durable than the Leopard. It doesn't have quite the damage per minute. I think it's about 200, 300 less. Yeah, so there's 3161. So just keep that in mind. But it is it's mobile, it gets around well, and it's got that lovely gun accuracy that you don't necessarily expect on a Soviet tank. So all of those things combined here, I do think 22,500 still pricey for this tank. You know, would love to see this under 20,000. 17,500 would be a wonderful price for it. So now they're just enticing you with multiple containers here and attachments. It's really just like clickbait, guys. They're just taking their money. All right, so the KPZ-50T, we said we would talk about this tank. This one is actually the box and the key. Really, you just need to buy the keys, and you should be getting the boxes for winning battles here. The one thing about these keys, they can be used, or they should be able to use for any lockbox event. So if you were fortunate enough to open buy 5 and get it on the first or second tank, you still had 2 or 3 or 4 left over, you can save those for the next event, or you can cash them in for gold, but that is not a very good exchange rate. The tank itself is kind of fun to play. I really haven't played it enough to give it a solid review at this point in time. Not talking about the battle pass. We've done that. We know the deals. So I'm going to have talked about all the tanks before we even get to the tank section, aren't I? So I think the T-55 and Lance and C I'm going to talk about later. We're going to stay away from the snake bite draw here. Essentially, you know, you can gamble a couple times. You see I did one time right there, and I ended up with 50,000 credits. And each time you play this amount goes up, and your percentages change because obviously you can't win anything more buy anything more than once there. So obviously the lowest percentage is going to be the tank itself. So yeah, let's skip over the resources. Nothing great deals in here, so try to stay away from these. Really, I gotta stress, if you're gonna buy gold to buy things in this game, really your best bet is to do that through buying the 2x gold. All right, so we already talked about the 907, the T-55 for $20. Don't really love the price on this tank. Mediocre tank at tier 9. Tech tree is just fine. I would just stay with that. A32, don't love this tank either. And then when you look at the fact that you can turn around and sell this for $14.50 plus the 30 gold, it's really not a great deal there either. So I would stay away from that. The Krupp, I think we've talked about this before. There's not too much time left on it anyway. 5X does apply to all tanks. It's still a little bit much in my opinion for the tank itself. Now, 2 tanks that I do like and a bundle that I do like here. I feel that the Action X is a must-own tank. The armor profile on it, the ability for this to play hull down and get a lot of shots in. It is the typical British fast-firing, low-damage shot, but it is one of the top tier 8 heavy tanks in my opinion. Now, the Lance and C doesn't quite fall into that same category as being top of class, but this is a wonderful tank. It's got great mobility, and what I like about it is this average damage, 320. You know, most of the mediums at tier 8s are going to be a little bit lower than this. So this one hits a little bit harder, which means, you know, you don't have to be exposed as often. And it, like I said, it does have 10 degrees of gun depression of 55 kilometers per hour. So as a bundle, both of these tanks are quite nice. The 5Xs are specific to the tanks themselves. A little bit of a drawback, but you can see 15,000 with no extras here if you were to buy them separately. So you're getting the camos and the extras there at a good discount. And I don't think you're going to be too disappointed with the Lanson. And I know you're going to love the Action X. Only 4 days left on these, and I think I talked about these 2 weeks ago. Not a huge fan of the M6 variants here at tier 8 and tier 7. Reason being, these tanks are tall, they're hard to hide, and their cheeks here are pinnable. Which, you know, I guess if you can get into the habit of making sure you're rotating your turret if someone is aiming at you, making it a little bit more difficult, and instead of turning sideways and giving them a nice big target here, you are aware of the fact that that is one of your biggest weaknesses on the tank, besides this giant side and rear, which we know is super weak. They are slow, accuracy is not great, and you're getting two tanks that are essentially the same. So I'm not a big fan of this, even though, you know, the price of 7,500 is what you would pay for one good tier 8 tank. Like I said, gold is your best way to go here. I mean, look at the $45 bundle for the M60. You know, you can get nearly 35,000 gold. Much better deal to do that, in my opinion. We've got some esports here. Tankenstein, it was a fun tank when it came out. It does have two different guns that you can choose from. The STG we've talked about before is a very difficult tank to play, with very low profile, little gun depression, rear mounted turret. It does hit hard, but it is a hard tank to play. So yeah, really, I think that sums up the store this week. So I hope everyone has a great weekend. Enjoy the Masters here in the home state of Georgia. My Atlanta Braves are looking pretty good this year. So all things are good. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. And of course, get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.